Bruce Lee versus Bolo Yeung. This was a fight many fans thought they were going to encounter in Enter the Dragon. This indeed would have been a fight of legends. However, there was never a reason throughout the entire movie for a fight between the two characters, given that Bruce Lee's character had no personal beef with Bolo Yeung's. This definitely left many fans disappointed, as what we eventually got was John Saxon's character facing Bolo Yeung's in the final act. Still, it's pretty much a unanimous decision that if Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung had gone up against each other, Lee would definitely come out victorious. And that verdict is mostly because of Bruce Lee's role as the hero of the movie. But in the case where that role didn't matter, how would such a fight end? This is something we can't help but wonder about. Of course, we all know there was never evidence of a real fight ever happening. However, what do you say we stick around till the end of this video and predict the outcome of this fight? Sounds like a good idea to me. But before we get into the ring, let's meet our fighters on a personal level, shall we? Bruce Lee. When it comes to martial arts in the West, Bruce Lee's name is definitely a huge one. With his incredible skills, the legend built the bridge that connected the East and the West. Lee was also one of the few great men that drew the world's attention to Chinese martial arts. Bruce Lee was born on the 27th of November, 1940, into the family of a Cantonese opera star, Lee Hoi-chun, and his wife, Grace Ho, in the Chinatown area of San Francisco. But although he was born in America, Lee spent most of his formative years in Kowloon, Hong Kong. While still a young boy, Lee's father quickly introduced him to the film industry, and this marked the beginning of what was going to soon become a career for the martial arts star. However, this wasn't exactly the direction Lee wanted his life to go, as he desired a career in martial arts instead. As he grew older, Lee became a street fight magnate, getting involved in every fight you can think of. So, in the bid to give their son the proper defense he needed, Lee's parents enrolled him in a martial arts school. It was there that he began his martial arts journey, learning Wing Chun. From there, Lee learned Tai Chi and boxing, even going as far as becoming a high school boxing champion. By the time he turned 18, he was back in the United States for a degree at the University of Washington, Seattle. During his time at the university, Lee began teaching martial arts and even went on to participate in the 1964 Long Beach International Karate Championship. And in no time, his amazing performance began to draw a lot of attention to him. As Lee got into his 30s, he returned back to the movie industry and even starred in several movies. Soon, his acting skills pushed him to become a movie icon all over the world. And while he conquered the movie world in Hollywood, Lee also continued to hit milestones in the world of martial arts. Lee even created his own martial art philosophy called Jeet Kune Do by putting together the elements from all the martial arts he had learned. This eventually became mainstream and influenced modern combat sports as we know them. Unfortunately, by July 1973, the world lost its martial art legend, Bruce Lee, at the age of 32. Bolo Yeung. Born Yeongzi, Bolo Yeung built a successful reputation as a martial artist, actor, and competitive bodybuilder, after which he decided to take up his new and more popular moniker. After playing several roles as a daunting villain, his most popular role being the one he played in Enter the Dragon, Yeung established his name in the industry. As young as age 10, Yeung had already begun to show so much interest in martial arts. And so he began training with different kung fu masters, thereby developing his kung fu skills. But of course, Yeung's interests ran wide as he had his eyes out for greatness. Yeung also had a lot of interest in bodybuilding from when he was still quite young. And after years of dedicating so much to his growth, Yeung became Mr. Hong Kong bodybuilding champion and held on to that title for about a decade. With a body like this, Yeung mostly took on villain roles as he was perfectly built for them. But by 1971, Yeung left his production company after filming with the Shaw brothers for a while. This didn't mean that his film career was over, though. His next career adventure while filming Winston's cigarette commercial would bring him in contact with the legend Bruce Lee. Almost immediately, Lee noticed Yeung's talent, and just like that, Lee offered Yeung a role in Enter the Dragon. Following this huge milestone, Yeung's next big role was Bloodsport, where he played the character of Chong Li. He acted alongside Jean-Claude Van Damme, who played the lead as Frank Dux. Indeed, this was the start of an amazing career in the film industry for Yeung. Now that we've been able to meet both characters, we can finally get into the sweet stuff. To determine the outcome of this fight, we will judge our characters across 4 categories. They are fighting pedigree, physique, skill, and improvisation. And each of these categories will be awarded 10 points. Of course, the fighter with the higher total wins. Fighting pedigree. First of all, we must acknowledge that both these men are remarkable martial artists. However, we can't ignore the fact that Bruce Lee was indeed a legendary martial artist. The legend created his own martial arts philosophy, alongside mastering several other martial arts. That's huge! This, of course, in no way downplays Yeung's pedigree. Still, giving respect when it's due is very important. And so this one goes to Bruce Lee with 10 points, while Bolo Yeung gets 8 points. Skills. With 2 very skilled men here, one has to come out the winner, of course. And so, once again, Bruce Lee wins this round. If you've ever watched Lee in action, you'll realize just how much he put into executing his styles, which made him a fearful fighter. We can also agree that Bolo Yeung has some insane skills up his sleeves. However, even he can testify that they don't come close to Lee's. So, once again, Lee gets a full 10 points and Yeung 7 points. Physique. In this category, we will be judging based on their height and weight in their prime. Bruce Lee stood at 5 foot 8 inches in height while weighing about 64 kilograms. On the other hand, Bolo Yeung stood at 5 foot 6 inches in height while weighing about 70 kilograms. The 2 inches difference in height may not be a lot, but weighing 6 kilograms less than your opponent gives Lee an advantage here. It may not seem like a lot, but it will do. With that, Lee gets 8 points while Bolo Yeung has 7 points. Improvisation. Lee's Jeet Kune Do philosophy, without a doubt, involves several elements of surprise. However, Yeung definitely has the ability to pull off excellent moves and tricks of his own. So to close this off, these 2 contenders end up with 8 solid points each. Verdict. And for our verdict, after collating all of the scores, with 35 points, Bruce Lee wins the fight against Bolo Yeung, who has 30 points. Indeed, both of these martial artists have a lot of talent up their sleeves. One more than the other, of course. But this is just what we think. Do you agree with this verdict? Make sure to let us know in the comment section below. Also, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and click on the bell icon so you never miss any of our future uploads. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.